Right, well, that's Judge John Luke Gadaud. So thank you, everyone. Please write to Linda Thayer because she can get letters again now. If you know anyone influential, please bring her case to their attention. So I'm in court this Thursday, 31st of October, at Westminster Magistrates Court, and the nearest tubes are Edgware Road, Marylebone and Baker Street. There's my telephone number, and don't forget my email address and telephone number are on that sheet, which is in reception on the left if you haven't got one. All these court cases are 10 o'clock in the morning. So thank you, all of you, very much for listening. And we send our love to Linda Thayer. If Linda Thayer ever gets out of jail, it will be you who have done it. Thank you very much.
Now, David, before you run away, we know that basically you've been living on fumes, and the courts are still trying to fleece you of everything they still think you have. And the people were very generous at AV10.
Yes.
And on your behalf, I'm going to just put this bucket out on the table. There's another one out there already. But if you would like to help support David and Lynn will David will take these buckets. It was David and Lynn at AV10. Unfortunately, it's just David now. David will take these buckets unopened back with him to do whatever he deems appropriate with. And, we are looking at ways, and David's looking at ways in which we can set up crowdfunding. But, what we obviously just have to be careful of is that the courts then don't say, well, you got a crowdfunder, and we're going to take that too, because, unfortunately, what we've witnessed in the courts is eye-opening. I mean, if anybody hasn't attended a court case ever, and I must confess, I spent more time in the courtroom in the last 6 years than I ever imagined I would. But the magnitude of the corruption is just truly staggering. I was actually sitting in the courtroom once, and this guy sitting next to me in the public gallery, in response to a comment the judge made, and he involuntarily just shouted out, "Bollocks!" Do you know how difficult it is when that happens, just to keep your eyes bearing straight forward like this? Your natural reaction is to go... But I wasn't about to give the guy away, because what the judge was spouting was utter bollocks. And unfortunately, of course, you have no recourse in the court. It's their show. So I will certainly be with you on Thursday. How many people can make it on Thursday to Marylebone Road? And if you haven't read the reports, particularly Craig Murray's report on the hearing, the extradition hearing of Julian Assange, then I encourage you to do so, because reading Craig Murray's report and John Pilger's report, it was clearly evident that Julian Assange had been drugged up. He was under the chemical kosh. And the judge, who fortunately for her name escapes me right now, but she treated him with such disdain, and said, because he said he was confused and hadn't been able to follow the proceedings, and she just simply dismissed it and said, well, your legal team can explain it to you afterwards. Well, David, in my opinion, is doing absolutely the right thing here. He's dispensed with the services of a legal team who, of course, their loyalty is to the bar and not to their client. And he's presenting as a living man in court. And although they're not acknowledging it, of course, they have no choice except to keep kicking the can down the road. And that's okay, but meanwhile, of course, we need to then apply our own collective creativity to find a way to bring not only this to a conclusion, but of course to get Lynn Thayer back into the UK. So, David,